Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. First off, I want to apologize. It's been a while since I uploaded anything. I've been working on Project Phoenix. Second of all, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you got any questions or comments, you can hit me up below or foxjunk73@gmail.com. And for those people who hit me up about the car being for sale, I did take a deposit on the car. He sent me a pretty good deposit, so I'm pretty sure it's sold. If for some reason it falls through, I'll let you guys know. I'll put it back out there once the car's done, and let you know that it's available once again. But I'm pretty sure the car's sold. It's going to Florida. If he wants to comment in the comments below that he's buying the car, that's fine. Hey, look there. She's gonna make an appearance today. She's sleeping today. So anyway, enough with Baker there, but she's always got to make some sort of appearance. Want to show you guys how the car turned out. It is running. This isn't going to be a first start. It'll be a cold start. Show you what issues I had. They were very small. I'm going to show you the completion under the hood. I still got to install 2 of the AC lines. Those aren't put on the car yet. I wanted to make sure everything was working the way it's supposed to once I got it running. I did have a few small issues, technical difficulties when I got it running. Nothing with the engine or anything like that. Some wires on the 130 amp alternator. You need to hook up. Some videos say you don't have to. Some say you do. I will tell you on this application, I had to hook up the black and orange wire as well. I did buy the big 4-gauge red wire with the inline fuse and all that stuff, and it wouldn't charge until I hooked up the original black and orange wires on the back of the alternator. I'm going to show you the engine bay. It looks super nice. I'm very happy with the way this thing turned out. All the wire loom, the wrap, the decals, the plug wires, the plug wire separators or holders or whatever you want to call them. Turned out super nice. Very happy with the engine bay on this car. It makes me want to paint it. However, it's sold. I'm not going to get into that. No regrets. Maybe a little not repainting and doing the car because this bitch will be hot with some fresh paint. Not that it's not going to be nice once I get it polished, but you know, that little extra step makes it super nice. So I'm going to quit flapping. I'll show you the engine bay. Let me know what y'all think. I'll show you some quick things I put on the car, how everything turned out. Motor runs super good, sounds super strong, good oil pressure, charging right, runs like 180 on the gauge, turning out really good. So let's check it out. There y'all go. It's about as factory looking as I can make one. Got the new decals put on. These are the cheaper ones you can get from LMR. They're nice for driver. They look really good. I heated up the radiator support before I put them on, so they're not going to come off. They're sticking pretty good. No issues there. This battery, it's not a Motorcraft. Don't shoot me. This battery was in my 93 Cobra R when I bought it in March. I bought a Motorcraft for it, and it's a brand new 522 battery. I did do the OEM battery cables. New OEM coil cover with decals. Master cylinder, new booster. Looking back there, I'm not done. I got to put the wiper motor on, obviously. The windshield washer hose has to go on, but looking all that factory fresh wrap back there, looking like it came out of the factory. Vacuum tree, cleaned up the ground. It's looking new. I do have to clean up the strip mounts. I know that I hadn't done that yet. Got everything up here. I got to put the distributor boot on. I got some new 8mm wires on there with the factory wire looms. I got the valve covers recoated. Nice looking factory intake. I restored the upper intake plaque. Yep, she's coming back. You gonna jump on there? Yeah, sometimes she does. That is an original sticker. That's not a repo. This is a really nice low mileage factory box I had. Now that's the 130 amp alternator. Like I said, I did the big red 4G wire. You can see it down there. It looks really nice. I did have to, on the back, I did have to hook up the black and orange wire, if you see that down there, or it would not charge. Some people say you have to, some people say you don't. Well, I had to. We'll step back a little bit. I got the condenser brackets all repainted and paint marked, the yellow paint the way they're supposed to. Oh, did go old school a little bit. Got some Mac underdrive pulleys, some Mac shorty headers. I had a buddy of mine, Johnny. He sandblasted them and I got them recoated. It's got a Mac X pipe on it, and it is really loud. I don't have the cat back on it yet. I'm going to order the cat back Monday. I'm going to do the Jones mufflers and tailpipes on this one. It's 350 bucks. It'll make the car sound super nice, and nice tailpipes. It'll look the part. So I'll check the X pipe out underneath. I got that all cleaned up and redone. Side of the car, the X pipe fitting nice the way it should. I'm going to fix that pinch wheel right there where it's bent. It does have a little bend in it. Look at those frame rails though. Not a dent in them. Nice. So yeah, sorry I hadn't posted in a while. Got it running the other day. Runs really good. I'll start for y'all here in a minute. I did let it run a little bit a minute ago. Check for leaks. This is the third run up I do on one. Sorry, there's some bad lighting in here. Want to make sure no oil leaks, no power steering leaks, no coolant leaks. Nothing leaking on this car. Everything turned out really nice. Power steering pump, I normally fill those up with the belt off, and then I'll spin it by hand, the pulley, until that sucks the fluid down into the rack and the cooler on the front of the radiator support. I do that twice. An empty power steering system holds a little bit over half a quart, not quite a full quart. So if you've got one fully apart and you put it back together with all the parts, it's about half a quart, 3/4 of a quart is what they hold empty. Crank it by hand before you start it. That keeps you from messing up your new power steering pump or rack or bushing or your seals. It's already got fluid in it. You ain't got air compressing the seal and all that with the pump spinning engine speed. Show you my process. Well, first of all, I'm gonna walk over here and grab this. My process of bleeding my fuel lines. Oh, I got the nasty fuel out of here. I'll show you how to do this real quick. I've showed you guys this before. I never demonstrate, just kind of show you. I'll run through it again real quick. Down here on the bottom, now I've got everything all nice and pretty under here on the rack. Now, what I'm talking about is I leave these fuel lines unhooked. Yes, my nut is off the motor mount, so I've got to do the motor mounts, cross member, and all that's got to be put the nuts on. It's something to do last. So I normally leave both lines unhooked. I did put a different fuel tank in this. It's almost a brand new tank. I put a brand new fuel pump in it, filter, and all that. So all that's changed. So I drain all the gas out of it and all that other stuff, and then leave the lines unhooked. Prime the system until you get fuel out of the big feed line into a bottle like this. See all this nastiness that came out of the fuel lines? So that's all the dirtier that was right there. Not too bad. So for setting 15 years. So leave that unhooked. Then once you get clean fuel out of the main primary feed line, hook it back up and then cycle the key 4 or 5 more times with another empty bottle until you get clean fuel coming out of this return line. So that way you know you ain't got any dirty fuel going into your system. You might get a little bit of dirty fuel from the return line going back in. I've also leave that unplugged at the back before it goes into the fuel filter on the return or the fuel tank. You can do that as well, but it's a little harder to get to back there in the back. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But yeah, everything looks super clean up here. He's got a little surface rust on the bottom of the K-member to clean up if he wants to do that. Nothing major, just very light, just from road grime and shit. But everything up here turned out super clean. Got everything, no leaks, no rear main leak down there, nothing like that. That's all super clean. Turned out really well. So yeah. So that's it for bleeding the fuel system, bleeding the power steering system. It's pretty easy to do. I'll run these cars through 2 or 3 heat cycles to make sure I don't have any leaks. This will be the 4th one I started for you guys. It is going to be kind of loud. I'll show you the gauge and where it's sitting on the temperature. Car sounds really strong, really strong. I always set my distributor in at 0. Some guys say they advance it 12. Initially, I don't ever do that just because you could end up being a tooth off. I set it at 0 and then I'll set the timing at 14. So it turned out really nice. It hit first fire after I bled the system and it fired right up. It set the timing and it was good to go. Sorry I didn't get a first start video. Got a lot going on. It's been a mild summer. Spending some time with the family outside before it gets super hot. Keys in there. Let's give this thing a start. So, like I said, I wasn't having any charging on the dash. It is warm up to temperature. It's sitting right below the 3rd bar when it's hot. It's charging at 14.1. I tested that on the battery itself with the voltmeter. Oil pressure's through the moon, and we got about a little over 1/8 of a tank. So everything so far works great. Like I said, it's a little loud. It's going to drop down some now. Let's see how quiet it is. Power steering pump is super quiet. No leaks, coolant, no leaks. Engine super clean, nothing down there. Give it a few wraps. you got that hillbilly truck sound. No offense to my hillbilly truck owners. So yeah, really happy with how everything's turning out. Sorry about that. So again, my only complaints. One, low coolant sensors are junk. They need to redesign that. They're good for 2 weeks. I've had a couple sent to me, keep having the same problem. It works for 2 weeks, goes out. The one on my 93 Cobra R, original sensor, works great, no issues. I bought an oil pressure switch from VatoZone. It's no bueno, it's junk. I don't know if I got a bad one or not. I put another switch on it I had on another motor in the back shop, an original Ford switch. Boom, works fine, works great. Reason I knew it was bad, because when I turned the switch on to the on position, it would max out oil pressure as soon as you turn the switch. It was internally grounding out. I did troubleshoot it before I actually pulled the new one out. I put a used one on the wire and grounded it. The gauge worked just the way it's supposed to, so it wasn't a power issue somewhere on the harness itself. I just checked it with another switch. Another issue I had, my dumbass forgot the main power wire to the ECM on the starter solenoid, so I didn't have any fuel pressure when I first started it. So that's the first place you always check, and that's the first place I went, was make sure all my wires were hooked up on the solenoid. I did miss one. When you working down in there, it's a gaggle of wires. There's 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 or how many ever wires are down by that solenoid. Once in a while I miss one. Nobody's perfect, and I missed the main primary wire like a dummy. And I got that fixed. Works great. Everything works on the car. Power windows seem to be working just fine. Really happy so far. I will show you real quick, if it's over here, my new fuel pump box that I put in it. I don't know where I stuck that. Back here. Let's go back here to the junk man. Oh, there it is. So this is the new Delphi pump I put in there. It's the part number if anybody's interested. It's a full assembly. The whole unit comes as is. Funny part though, the fuel tank that I used or took out of Project Phoenix had a brand new one in it. You can see the top of it was dirty, and the pump itself had a little surface rust. You know, some people say, oh, I'd use that. It's like, you know what, that car's been sitting for 10 years. Yes, it's a new unit, but my luck, I put it in there, send the car down the road to the new owner, and you know, 3 weeks later or whatever, the fuel pump goes out because it's sat too long. So that's not how I roll. I bought a new pump for it. I put it in there. I'm not gonna put used shit in a car that I'm selling to somebody. Sometimes I'll use used parts. The tank is used, but it came out of a 28,000 mile 86 GT. Mint, clean tank, inside, outside, no rust. The original tank in this car, super clean inside. The outside rusty as hell, but the inside looked really good. So if anybody around me needs a tank that's clean inside, don't care what the outside looks like, it's free if you want it. It's back there in the back. I don't use stuff like that. Again, the car's going to Florida. If he wants to comment below, he's more than welcome. If not, that's fine too. Hope he sees this video today. This car's going to look awesome. I'm going to pull. I'm going to be a week behind. I'm hoping to have it done no longer than a month. I know that sounds like a long time, but I've got to paint the trunk, the back bumper. I've got to pull the quarter glass, restore the quarter glass, paint all the black trim. I'm going to polish it while it's apart, put it back together, put the windows back in it, throw the seats back in it, the door panels, and I'm going to send this baby on down the road. Again, like I said, it's going to Florida. I'm going to get the AC working for at least too, so we should have some cool breeze when it gets down there. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I do have some regrets on selling the car. I would like to see it with some fresh paint. He says he's got other plans with it. That's up to him if he wants to add that, and I'll leave that up to him. Sorry it took so long to get an update video on Phoenix. Like I said, I've been enjoying the pool. Mild summer. I worked my ass off on Project Field Snake. In between projects, I'll take, I won't say a week. I do keep working. I don't bust my ass type work. I come out and fiddle with Project Phoenix, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, something like that. But I don't hump like I was 20 years old, bust my ass like I'm 20. I'll be 50 in a couple weeks, and I work like I'm 50. My time, my pace, do it right, take my time, and that's what it's really about, just doing the job right. Boss used to say in the military, if the job's not worth doing right, it's not worth doing at all, or just don't do it. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for subscribing. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. And I'm going to get y'all some more content. I'm going to get a 93 Cobra R video out, but I've been working my ass off on this. Haven't had time to mess with that car. Don't need much. I got to do a little cleaning, some polishing. It's a driver car, 38,000 mile car. Very lucky to find that one. It took me 7 months to get it in my possession, but it's here. It's mine. And we'll get a video on that and maybe some of my other rare foxes down the road. Again, I'm babbling. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good weekend.